Alrighty, so Jaden Roberts missed a scrimmage this Saturday, and James Smith has been hurting as well. Now, luckily, Coach DeBoer is very encouraged by the progress that Smith is making in his recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what the injury is exactly, but it's an undisclosed one. But we do hope to have him back definitely during the season, like at least before week 1 starts. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, James Smith is projected to be starting for Alabama on defense at defensive tackle. So he's a very important player for our team. And yeah, whenever you hear undisclosed injury, it really could be anything. You never know if it's really severe and like the player wants to keep it private or if it's kind of minor. So it's just, they just don't feel like it's worth really saying. You never know with that. I do tend to prefer when you kind of know what an injury is, kind of like, we heard about Jam Miller, recently with his, dislocated collarbone. Like, the injury, the timetable for return. I kind of prefer that. But again, if a player doesn't want it to be disclosed, you have to respect that. Or maybe the coaching staff wishes not to. But yeah, hopefully in the case of James Smith, especially that his injury, whatever's going on is not severe. So he will be able to, go out there and play for his week 1, especially since he's projected to be a starter. Now, Jaden Roberts, he's projected to be a backup on our O-line, but definitely, he's an experienced guy that, is expected to factor into that rotation heavily. So, you don't want to lose either of these guys. It's just unfortunate, like I said, that we've had this many, injuries prior to the season. But like I said, no team is going to be unscathed with that. Every team suffers injuries. Just hopefully, in our case, they're very minor, so they can come back out there for us soon.
Well, and Jaden Roberts suffered a concussion, and he wasn't able to play in the fall scrimmage this weekend. And I just really hope it's not a real bad one, honestly.
Yeah, we know all about concussions with Tua. Obviously, with him, his situation in the NFL has been very tough on him and tough on Alabama fans because, a lot of us keep up with Tua and, Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young, some of the, the ex-players. So definitely we know all about that. But not everybody has, when they get a concussion, then it's going to be like, what Tua's been suffering. But at the same time, concussions can be very, minor. They could be very brief, less than like a week where you're suffering it, or it could last 2-3 months. So hopefully it's not that bad. But yeah, tough that he couldn't play in the fall scrimmage.
Oh, no doubt about that. But I'm looking at the offensive line from ourlads.com. I gotta say that's very helpful because got Gino Vandermark. See, we're fine, but you don't want to be losing a lineman to injury all the same.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at Jaden Roberts, he was like our most experienced reserve. You look at kind of the other reserves, and most of them are redshirt sophomores, redshirt freshmen, stuff like that. He's a redshirt senior that was a reserve. So, that's why it's very important, if he can come back, hopefully soon, because you want to have, experienced guys subbing in for the starters. You want to factor in those younger guys and guys like Casey Poe, Rob Montgomery. They're going to play. They're going to get, some snaps, some run this season. But you don't want those guys playing more than a guy like Jaden Roberts. He's a very experienced guy, older guy that is almost a starter, almost a starting level player. But just we have so many great offensive linemen that, he projects to be a backup. But like I said, very important to have experience coming off of the bench, So definitely it'd be good to get him back.
There we go. And finally, we got Coach Smoot with us for the 50th edition of Crimson Tide Live. How you doing tonight, good buddy? Can you hear us?
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Clear. Loud and clear.
All right. What's up, man? How y'all feeling?
I'm doing all right.
I had a few technical difficulties here, man, trying to get the backdrop and everything set up, and then we just got our internet connection back up, so we're good to go. How's everybody doing tonight in the chat? How y'all feeling out there? Mary J, I see y'all. Let's go.
Shout out to one of our YouTube members, Mary J. Let's go.
Yes.
We were looking at the depth chart about what happens if we're not having James Smith. Now, we're hoping he's back by the time we get to week 1. But we're just hoping he's doing all right. Coach, how you feel about the Jaden Roberts injury status and the James Smith injury status?
I think these, just like we've been reporting on them, man, these are things that these young men are working through on the daily. And at this point of fall camp and, and getting in preparation mode for Florida State, really this week starting to implement it. A lot of those absentees from live action were just for, those purposes to try to minimize or mitigate the possibilities for injuries to worsen. These are injuries that can be played through and will be played through. Not anything that's going to keep them out of the game. So by all means, utilize this time to get veteran guys who are on this roster, who have been looking for an opportunity, give them opportunities to build some rapport, build those, what they call them, stacking positive reps, in meaningful, impactful spots, and that's going to create quality depth for the team. So I'm not worried about them missing any extensive time. I like the workload that they're both being able to work with, still being able to be active in all phases of practice, outside of the full contact. So I like where they're at.
Well, we'll definitely wait and see what happens. How bad do you think the concussion is for Jaden Roberts? It's not too bad. Is it really bad? What's going on there, Coach?
I didn't know there was a concussion protocol for Jaden. I thought that was somebody said it was for Jaden Roberts. I thought it was more so for it was a walk-on offensive lineman. Jaden Roberts has been dealing with the shoulder, the knee. It's been a couple of injuries and even off-season physical therapy sessions he's been going through even since spring. So it's just, like I said, stuff that you're going to play through. You're going to play through, and right now you got to find that fine balance between where they stand. Now, let me pull this up because I did get the official injury report. Let me pull the official injury report because there was nothing on it about Jaden Roberts in concussion protocol. So, and if you saw a story out there, I would love to see the link so that we can get the right information out there.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and find it.
And I think also I need to get into this on the Brave browser. Let me back out and be back in. All right.
All right. Yeah, it's from Matt Stale from AL.com. That's where we found it from. And sorry about the internet, folks. Hotel connection and all that.
Oh yeah, my internet was messing around with me too.
It's Matt. We're quite true. It's messing around with all three of us today. Oh man. Yeah, we don't care about gutters. At least not today. We don't care about a gutter. Yeah. That's not a good look. But he didn't say whether he anticipates Roberts will be able to play against Florida State. So
yeah, so keeping that tight-lipped. I mean, that means it's kind of borderline. It's probably a 2 to 3 week injury. Hopefully nothing more than that. If he misses like the first game, he probably will be available for the next.
Agreed. So we'll just wait and see what happens. So it's always good to kind of figure out the codes of coaches, where it's like if they're not going to give you the full take, but you'll be able to figure out when you watch them enough times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you pick up on familiar things that they do, kind of giveaways, on stuff like that of whether, when a guy's like on the fence of playing, whether he's going to play or not, just certain things like that. Every coach is different. DeBoer's still relatively new, so we'll figure out those cues eventually.
Oh, sorry about that.
I got it, brother.
Oh, there you go. Yes, this is the story that we got from Matt Stale at AL.com, where he talked about the key Alabama starter missing a second scrimmage with a concussion.
Yeah,
That's our guy, Jaden Roberts.
per official report, there was no official report on a concussion protocol for Jaden Roberts. It's been the lower body extremity, so, and that's media advisory from UA. So I don't know. I'm just saying. But like I said, we've known Jaden to deal with concussions in the past. I don't know if this is something that I don't know. That's not what the report was, and he's been limited all fall camp. So yeah, how much for the van, Clint Moses? How much for the van? Oh man. Hey, but other topics, man. Jaden Roberts, James Smith injury. We talked about the depth there. As far as the defensive line, the rotation there, I've always been high on that. That's kind of been like a topic of conversation I've been carrying over on the Coach Smoot Network for a couple of weeks now. The quality of depth there, and you've seen it in the scrimmage this past weekend. The interior is solid, probably the most solid of the defense line. Now the most talented, where you're going to get all your explosive plays, your impact plays, definitely coming off that Bandit and Wolf position right now. But the interior, that rotation of guys, is what's allowing these guys on the edge to really thrive. And I think the inside linebacker and safety play is going to see a boost in production and fluidity because of what the interior defensive line is able to do with this rotation. And James Smith not being rushed back, that's going to be huge for us. That's going to be huge for us. Get him as close to 100% as he can get. And, once he's available, we know what this defensive line can look like as far as being able to stop the run, even, keep pressure on the pocket in the pass rush. So, yeah, that's where I think we're going to be good. And as far as defensive line rotation.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see what our D line brings against Florida State. I'm already just counting down to week 1 already, seeing what our defensive lines bring. I mean, I'm impressed what they've been bringing in fall scrimmage, but I just can't wait to see what they can bring come game time.